Hey, welcome to another episode of Andy's Self-Help. Today is a continuation of last week's episode, which is the Myers-Briggs Dating Guide or MBTI Dating Guide, which I think sounds better. Last week we went over the 8 intuitive types. This week we're going to go over the 8 sensing types. So just to reiterate what I said last week, remember, when it comes to dating, when it comes to sex, everybody's different. Everyone has a different upbringing. They've had different experiences. And overall, everybody is just going to be different no matter what you do. So Myers-Briggs as a whole, no matter what you learn about it, is just an outline. It's just a tool, just a reference guide, but it does not have all the answers. So just to remember, any type can be with any type. ENTJ with ISTJ. ENTJ with ISFP, it doesn't matter. They can be with any type. It just depends on the maturity of the person, if they can find common ground, so on and so forth, like any other relationship. So all I'm explaining to you, realistically and kind of statistically, of what you're gonna find. Okay, so let's start off with the ISTJ. So the ISTJ in a relationship, they're pretty simple on what they want. They just want someone who's willing to take time to understand them, work with them, and be dedicated to them. ISTJs are very faithful and they're very loyal in relationships. They really give their all, they try their best. And you understand, because they are introverted feelers, and because introverted feeling is lower in their order, they are not really good at expressing their emotions, hence the thinking type over feeler type. And so what it comes down to is they're usually very knowledgeable, and usually they want to share this with their partner. And so you just, when you're with them, have to take time to get to know them. And you'll start learning they have a lot to offer. And so ISTJs in a relationship are very, very upfront, honest. They want to deal with it. And usually they have a lot to give you, a lot to kind of uncover over time, so you never have all the answers right away. And they're loyal. Like, it's one of the best things. They don't cheat. They're looking for happiness. They're not much for hookup culture, and I'll explain that for every type. They are not a hookup culture type. They'll do it, but they prefer to be in a relationship, like most people, honestly. Um, and their best match is the ESFP. They can be with ENFPs. It's not uncommon, but they're more likely to be better paired with an ESFP. Why? Because I've said many times the sensing types need to be with sensing types, intuitives need to be with intuitives. But once again, any type can be with any type. Sensor with intuitive, intuitive with sensor. It doesn't matter. But it's just intuition and sensing are just two different ways of thinking and viewing the world, where intuitives are more in their head and sensors are more in the moment. And so sometimes that can cause conflict, but it just depends on the people. But their best match is the ESFP. Why? Because it lets the ISTJ have someone who can help them get connected with their emotions, help them get out of their shell, and help them get out into the world. It just kind of helps break their barriers so they can build new ones. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then we're going to move over to, you know what, let's do it this way today. We're going to do to the ESTJ. We'll do the introvert and extrovert. The ESTJ in a relationship is very similar to the ISTJ, where they're looking for a best friend and they're looking for someone who's going to be direct with them and grow. ESTJs don't really want to be with someone who's not into improving themselves, who's not into actually moving forward. ESTJs are very motivated and dedicated people who are always looking to find the next way to go. And sometimes it's for money, sometimes it's for, you know, status, power, whatever. But regardless, the ESTJ in a relationship, if proven, will be very driven, help you move forward. They'll be very caring of you. They will be try to get intimate with you as time goes on. I don't mean sex. I mean just intimate, where they try to open up for you, because they also have introverted feeling like the ISTJ, but their introverted feeling is last, meaning they are not in touch with their emotions. They always have a fear of failure. They always have a fear they're going to be a fraud, and they have to. A lot of times, you can build up narcissism. It's just to convince yourself. But that aside, it's hard for them to get in touch with their emotions. So when you're with them, they are very direct, but they're very honest going to give you on average. Okay, I'm talking about healthy types just to break down. There's unhealthy people in every type, and there's shit people in every type. We're going off healthy people today. But the ECJ will be honest, be forward, help you grow, and all they ask in return is that you be open with them, be patient with them, try to help them grow, and ultimately be a force to be reckoned with. And they'll be honest, loyal, and kind to you, and try to help you move forward, and they'll take an interest in your hobby, so on and so forth. But they got to be with the right partner, and their best match is the ISFP. Now, they can be with the INFP as well. It just all depends. But the ISFP is very close to them because the ISFP is not structured, they'll help the ESTJ break out of their routine. The ISFP will help them get in touch with their emotions. And the ISFP as well will also just help them relax and be close to them and build an intimate bond and just ultimately give them what they crave, which is someone to relax with, but who's also down to go with the flow and move forward. Now, if you notice, and I should have said this last video, the perfect type for each type, they always share at least one function, as in one set of functions. Remember, if you're an introverted feeler, you have extroverted thinking. Introverted thinking, extroverted feeler. And then for extroverted intuition, introverted sensing, introverted intuition. Okay, that aside, what it comes down to is the ISTJ and ESFP both have introverted feeling in common. And that's really good to have in a relationship because it means you feel and think pretty similar in just the way it kind of comes out. And so for another example, the ENTP and INFJ have extroverted feeling, so they can feel and think kind of the same. So it really just helps out in arguments and understanding the way each other view the world. But it just, like I said, it doesn't mean anything. Any type can be with any type and they can be together forever. Okay, let's move on. The ISTP. Okay, so the ISTP in a relationship, all they really require is space and understanding. ISTPs are, oh, I forgot to say, ESTJs are not really about hookup culture, but they are also not averse to it. They'll do it, it just, they, like most people, want a relationship, but yeah, they're not averse to it, really. Okay, so ISTP, one, they are not averse to hookup culture. Matter of fact, a lot of times they love it. But like most types, they want a relationship at some point, and for ISTPs, they just need someone to be honest and direct with them. They don't want you to play little mind games with them. They're pretty good at noticing the bullshit. They want someone who's going to help them grow and be motivated and help them kind of get some structure in their lives. And so with an ISTP, you also just need to realize they need space. They need a lot of space. They don't want you to take it as a personal slam. It's just everybody, not just any type. Everybody needs some space every once in a while. But ISTPs, they need a lot. Why? Because they have extroverted feeling last, which means they're not that in touch with their emotions, and they need to process it. Why do they need to process it? They lead with introverted thinking. So they're always trying to figure it out. And so they need time to roll over everything they've learned, all the data, and organize it so they can process it properly. Their best match is the ESFJ. And the ESFJ for them, remember, ISTPs can be with ENFJs. It can happen. Doesn't matter. But I'm going to stop saying that, by the way. I think we got to figure it out. The ISTP with the ESFJ is perfect. Why? Because the ESFJ will help them kind of get some routine, but the ESFJs are also kind of wild and very outgoing. So they'll help the ISTP get extroverted while also realizing that they can also keep themselves occupied and they'll give the ISTP space. And because of that, it's perfect for the ISTP who wants to live life and go be extroverted, but also needs alone time and a partner who gets it while also kind of feeding them emotionally. ESFJs are heavy feelers, man. All right. I think I'm answering most of this right. Okay. So ESTP. The ESTP, simple enough. They love hookup culture. They're a big fan of being single. It's rare for them to really settle down and get married. I'm not saying rare as in only 1% do it. It's usually later in life or they got lucky and found the right person because they're not averse to getting married. They seem to find the right person, but they're very picky up until that point. Why? Because ESTPs on the go. ESTPs are always about new adventure, trying new things, being new things, all of it. And so because of this, they need a partner who's willing to live that life with them, but also let them be the leader. So they're better off with introverts, which this is what I went over before. Introverts are better with extroverts. Feelers are better with thinkers. Judgers are better with perceivers. And intuitives and sensors are the only two functions that really shouldn't be together. Okay, so the ESTP, like I said, they're very prone to adventure, and they need someone who's willing to go along with the ride, and they need someone who will also be honest with them and direct, and they need someone who'll be their friend. Because trust me, if you are in a and I forgot to say this about the ISTP. The ISTP and ESTP are pretty similar. When you're in a relationship with them, you're dedicated, you're honest, you're loyal, so on and so forth. The ESTP and ISTP are both very passionate partners, compassionate partners. They'll be there for you, help you be driven, help you be motivated. ISTPs will help you learn to relax more, though, and teach you. Where ESTPs are more likely to guide you. They're more likely to take you on adventures, broaden your horizons, get you out of your shell. That's what they're great at because they're talkers, they're controllers, they can run the environment, whatever they're in. It's phenomenal. So their best match would be the ISFJ. Now, the ISFJ is perfect for them because the ISFJ is all about their partner. The ISFJ would then take in the ESTP's lifestyle as their own while also helping the ESTP learn how to relax and unwind properly and help the ESTP get a little bit more structure in their lives. And because of this, it's a good match. And they would also help the ESTP get more in touch with their emotions, be able to control it and not let it overtake them as much, you know? So pretty simple on that. And the ESTP leads with extroverted sensing. They're very in the moment. And because of this, they're really not good with intuitives due to the fact that they don't really care about hypotheticals as much. It's not the fact they can't do it. It's not the fact they don't get it. They just don't care. It's just not their natural wiring. So it's usually better for them to be with a sensor. Going to the ISFP. So the ISFP, simple enough. They're free spirits. They just want a partner to understand them emotionally, really listen to them and take in, consideration who they are. And if you give the ISFP space they need and that trust and dedication, you'll have a partner who's romantic, broadens your horizons, probably isn't like anybody you've dated before, and ultimately will be there for you to connect with on an emotional level you weren't ready for. ISFPs, by the way, are pretty okay with hookup culture. They're always looking for a partner, but they're not averse to hookup culture. And like I said, anybody can be anything, okay? Some people hate hookup culture. Some ESTPs are just only about relationships. Anybody can be anybody. This is just on average. The ISFP, though, needs someone who will help them get all these emotions, this drive, these plans they have, and help them unleash them to the world. And so ISFP's last function is extroverted thinking, meaning they can think of a plan, but they're really bad at implementing it. And they lead with introverted feelings. So they're caught up in their emotions and who they are a lot and always trying to figure that out. Like they have their own deep set of internal rules that go in their internal world. And so they feel a lot, which means they daydream a lot, which is not a bad thing. That's an intuitive thing as well. That aside, the ISFP's best match, which we went over just a second ago, is the ESTJ. Why? Because the ESTJ can help the ISFP make a plan, get out of this rut, and move. And the ESTJ can help them become more logical, make more less reckless decisions, I guess. Not more, but less reckless decisions, help them move forward. It's a good match. And that kind of sums it up. The ESFP, simple enough. They're lead SC as well, just like the ESTP, so they're very in the moment. So they're much better with sensors over intuitives, just due to definitely the communication and viewing the world thing. Their last function is introverted intuition, which if I get to say that about the ESTP, their last function is introverted intuition. This is what the ISFJ helps with. ISFJs are future planners. And by future planners, just down the road, like a house, bill, shit like that. And ESTPs are not. Their last function is introverted intuition, which means they have trouble foreseeing and predicting the future. They have trouble really accepting it when it comes. They always plan too late, and it hits them like a fucking train. That was a terrible analogy. So that aside, we were on the ESFP. I'm so sorry, I'm blinking out, man. Had a long day. But yeah, on the ESFP, they also have introverted intuition last, which means they're also bad at seeing the future, hence the extroverted sensing, because they're in the moment. They're so in the moment that they're not picturing the future ever. And it's not a bad thing. Like they plan to get a car, a house, whatever, but they're definitely in the moment decision makers. And the ESFP, because they are a feeler, are much more in the moment. And so when they are in a relationship, they need someone who will be in the moment with them, who will let them show them the world, show them the culture, really show them the lavish lifestyle that they see that they have, that they've built for themselves, especially in their head. And so the ESFP needs someone who will share that with them. And they definitely need an introvert because they talk a lot and they run the room, and they just need a partner who's willing to go along for the ride with them. But if you do that, and they are healthy, you'll have an ESFP who's always adventurous, always trying something new, always broadening your horizons and never keeping it the same. And it's great because you'll always have just kind of some spontaneity in your life. And I may have said that wrong. But the ESFP's best match is the ISTJ. Why? The ISTJ is a go with the flow person. They'll help the ESFP get structured. They'll help the ESFP become a little bit more logical in their decision making. And they'll let the ESFP take charge, lead the game, while the ISTJ comes in with some advice every so often. ISFJ, they lead with introverted sensing. They're very organized and rely heavily on past traditions. And their last function is extroverted intuition, which means they suck at picturing multiple possibilities. That's something I forgot to say about the ISTJ. They also have extroverted intuition as their last function, which means they suck with multiple possibilities, which is great for the ESFP because they don't really plan for tomorrow. So the ISTJ kind of plans it themselves, so they can always make the game plan. ISFJ, same thing with the ESTP. ISFJs can make the plan, which makes them more comfortable. They like having a routine. Now with ISFJs, they just need a friend and they need someone who understands them. They really just need consistency. They need to know you're going to be there for the long haul. That's their main draw. And if you do that, you'll have a partner who is invested in you, will be there for you more than any other person you've probably been with or known. They'll care about you deeply, take an interest in your passions, and if you give them time, they'll open up to you and show their passions, hobbies, interests, so on and so forth. You can grow like that together. It's a good feeling. And so the ISFJ just needs commitment in a partner, commitment and understanding. That way you can build the trust. And their best match is the ESTP because it kind of gives them a project to work on because ESTPs are pretty wild till you settle down. And the ISFJ is the perfect person to help them settle down and get more well-rounded so they can get a little bit more structured. And also it helps the ISFJ be the extrovert they want. And they just need the ESTP to help them take care of their community, home, family, friends, just really be involved in their life because the people they love are their life. And the ESTP will help the ISFJ see the world, so on and so forth, which is what the ISFJ wants. They want to explore, they want to gather, and they want to do it with somebody they trust. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm talking really fast this video. I can see it and I can hear it. I don't like it. I'm a fast talker. I'm sorry. ESFJ, last one to top it all off. ESFJ, they're very similar to the ISFJ, except they talk a shitload. They're very in the moment. They're very much about family, friends, commitment. They want someone with them. And for them, the only requirements they need is someone who's ride or die, who will most likely become their best friend over the long run, and just someone who's willing to let them kind of take the lead so they can do their fantasy, make everything perfect for their world, so on and so forth. But if you do this, you'll have a partner who cares about you, who makes sure you get out of your own skin every once in a while, who will care about, and this goes the same for the ISFJ one I'm about to say, that will make every holiday a very special occasion. It means something to them. So back to the ESFJ. And so you'll have all of these amazing things to give you this kind of fantasy life that you see in the movies. And it's a good feeling because it's the closest you'll get, and you'll be close with your family, and it's just nice to have around. And this is because their last function is introverted thinking. They're very much in their emotions because they lead with extroverted feeling, one of the only two types. Every type only leads with, there's only two. Hold on. Every type leads with a certain function, and two types share the same function, meaning only two types have this function first. And remember, the functions make a complete difference in the personality depending on where they're at. The ESFJ has it first, extroverted feeling. They're about the tribe. They live for the tribe. They live to serve others. They're not in the way they're weak. They're very stand-up individuals, but they have their moral codes, and they're happiest when their family's in harmony and their friends are in harmony and everything's just okay. And because of this, their best match is the ISTP, because the ISTP will help them think logically, will also help them just kind of plan, and their ISTPs are also very much about being there for their partner. And so they'll do stuff for the ESFJ to help these fantasies come alive, like the party they're planning, the family gathering, so on and so forth. And since the ESFJ has introverted thinking last, which is what the ISTP leads with, when they get in the rut, they're very illogical. They don't think right. They just kind of start throwing shit around verbally to see if it sticks, and they're just losing it. And so the ISTP helps them keep grounded and logical and routine structured, so on and so forth. So the ESFJ just needs someone who's going to be their friend, the ride or die, and go with the flow for whatever they want to do. Sorry if I talked really fast. I hope you enjoyed it. This concludes that series. Happy quarantine, everybody, and hopefully this shit ends soon.